Hi, you guys. Well, you asked me to do this video about Real Housewife of Miami gossip. So I'm doing it, and I've got a lot of really fun, juicy things you may or may not have heard that have happened to the ladies on that show. I'm also going to play you a really crazy video about a girl who said that her boobs got totally messed up by Dr. Lenny at the end of this video, and I'm going to read some legal documents in here from Lisa's fight with Dr. Lenny that I didn't put in the Patreon. I did cover it in my bonus audio, some of the legal documents, but not the ones I'm going to include in here. So I'm trying to make everybody happy, right? So exciting, really fun video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. Yeah. So I'll put this in the Real Housewives of Miami playlist, and also just general Hollywood gossip playlist, okay? So get your coffee, get your tea, get your water, get your booze, jelly, and let's get into it. Let me choose a really cool starting filter. So let's start with Larsa Pippen, shall we? She's got some cool news. It appears she's moved to Miami, and she's living in an apartment, like a large fancy apartment. It looks like she's in the main side of Miami. She's not on South Beach, and she's probably in that area that's like adjacent to Brickell, that's on the water, where there's some really good restaurants that everyone loves. And I don't know if you've ever gone to the music festival where the park is and all that like area, and Brickell like esque area. So I'm really excited for her, because that's a great place for someone, you know, who's single, who wants to check out, you know, maybe meet some guys and have some fun. So I think she's really getting into being single now. She looks great. But the big news for Larsa is her son, Scottie Pippen Jr., part of the Lakers. What an accomplishment for this young man, only 21. I'm so happy for him. It's funny because he used to go to an elementary school that my son went to, but my son's much younger than him. And I thought that was really interesting. And Pinecrest is a part of Florida that's like this kind of, I don't know, how do you describe Pinecrest? It's like big estates. They're very far from each other. It's less expensive than Miami Prime, but people like to live out there because they have big land, and like they have traditional birthdays for kids. It's like a very traditional life in Miami versus the apartment setting where everything is like, it's just done differently. Okay, so people do like Pinecrest that are into big estates and stuff. Anyway, he went to this school, but he decided to leave Pinecrest in 10th grade to start really pursuing basketball. So he went to this high school in Chatsworth, California, and he started really getting into basketball. Like, you know, he was playing basketball along, but, you know, really getting ready to get into a great college and get on a great basketball team. Anyway, he ends up going to Vanderbilt, I'm sure on a full scholarship based on the fact that he ended up on the Lakers this year. So congratulations. This is his this is his basketball poster. Scottie Pippen and Larsa must be so proud of their son. Now they have to protect him from all the bimbos that will come flocking to him. Okay, so let's move on now to Lisa Hochstein, because she, oh my God, I could do an hour on her. So Lisa Hochstein has been going through it, you guys, so hardcore from the legal filings. I feel so bad for her. She just had her birthday, and she posted the cutest video of her with this giant cake, and she was like, look at my giant cake I bought myself. It's bigger than me. And it was really cute. Obviously, that's going to be on the show because it was a very over-the-top cake. So I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about Larsa's son on the show, and we're going to be maybe attending Lisa Hochstein's lavish birthday party as a single woman with her friends, which is new. And anyway, I'm going to show you a picture of the cake, if I can find it. I hope she still has it up. And this birthday was subject to a huge dispute between her and her husband, Dr. Lenny. Well, the first thing to know about Lisa Hochstein is that she ended up getting in a big fight with Dr. Lenny, which was reported in the tabloids, but more from Dr. Lenny's perspective. And basically, Dr. Lenny was saying that he was trying to go on vacation with his new girlfriend, Katerina, in Europe. And suddenly his credit card that usually has like $100,000 on it, I guess, wasn't working. And when he went and looked, the card had been maxed out by Lisa Hochstein. Allegedly, she had spent $60,000 on things for her and the family and the house and whatever else she spends on. And he was like flabbergasted, I guess, that this credit card had been maxed out. And then what happened was he paid it down $5,000, and just so he, I guess, could use the credit card while he was in Europe. And she tried to use some of it too, but it wasn't enough to cover the cost of her birthday. And so she got really, really upset. And and he was getting upset because every time he cleared it, it was getting spent. Well, her position, I'm going to detail out for you. His position is that should be out of the house by now, that he's upset at the amount of money that she's spending, that she's not like dealing with reality basically in the divorce and what's happening, which is he's not going to afford her lavish lifestyle. His position was that there was a prenup and we must stick to the prenup, which basically says I'm going to help you get a place to stay, which I am so generous that you're going to like, but I'm only going to do it for a few months and you need to just accept this is happening to you based on the prenup agreement. Think about why I chose this filter. Now she's basically taking a different position, which is, oh yes, you are. And Lisa's like, hey, wait a minute, buddy. First of all, I'm used to a level of lavish lifestyle, and you're going to keep up that lavish lifestyle because I shouldn't have to downgrade because you decided to cheat. And yes, I agreed to the prenuptial agreement that you signed, but not in the exact way that it's being presented to the court. There were certain flexible caveats which we need to discuss, and I plan to. And by the way, the kids are really having a difficult time with your new girlfriend that you dumped me for out of, left field, although you're saying with her that I knew or that I saw it coming in some way, but I didn't. And she's like, our kids are not doing well with this divorce happening all of a sudden, and I need to make it less dramatic for them by me suddenly moving out of our family home into another location, and we don't even have it figured out yet how that's going to work. Anyway, Katerina lives in a very nice building in Miami, but not as nice as Dr. Lenny's building. Dr. Lenny lives in the nicest building in terms of like HOA. Like the HOA in this building is like 5 to 6 to 7,000 just for the HOA, not the apartment, nothing else. Okay. And he's living in this hoity-toity fancy building that I used to live right next door to, but it's like the most fancy building in South Beach. And there's all these like older rich guys that live there that like are single and they're trying to like hook up with model girls in Miami. It's hilarious. Some of which were my old friends, but it's okay. It is what it is. They would admit it themselves. They have like a little clique over there. Anyway, this building that he moved into, boy, I can see the trouble on the walls now. So crazy is the world is so small. Would you believe that one of my friends is the head of the board of the HOA of the building he lives in? I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be like, you let him in your building? Like, I wonder if he's become friends with him. No wonder they've been hanging out at Prime 112. It's right across the street. Anyway, as I mentioned on Andy's show, it would appear from some of these legal filings that one of the reasons Lenny Hochstein really wants to get Lisa out of his house yesterday, the one on Star Island, is that He wants to throw his annual Halloween party there, and he wants to do it with his new girlfriend, Katerina, who, by the way, has filed injunctive relief from a court for a hearing that's happening on August 16th that is supposed to stop Lisa from cyber stalking and, I guess, physically stalking Lisa. She's saying that Lisa's been sending her threats through accounts on her social media page, saying things like she's going to be reported on her green card. In other words, I don't know, maybe Lisa knows something about Katerina's green card. What she says in the injunction is that she thinks Lisa believes that her marriage to her previous husband was a scam and that she only married him for her green card. But Katerina went in her court documents and looked up at the judge and said, "Oh, it's not true. My wedding was real and my love for my ex-husband was real and I got my visa fair and square for the next 11 years. Now Lisa's like, "Oh, hell no, lady. Don't bat your Bambi eyes at the court because I see you." Because, I think Lisa knew. Well, I have evidence in the Patreon to suggest that Lisa knew Katerina before she moved in on her man. So I think Lisa knows a lot about this girl, actually. Anyway, I can't read all the descriptions of all the threats she received. There was a whole bunch of them. And I did read them on my bonus audio from Tuesday, and I will put the link to that bonus audio in the Patreon in my description if you guys want to go listen to it. It's a great episode of the bonus audios. Okay, so anyway, now let's move on to another really fun legal document. Okay, so Lisa's side of the story I will read you a part of. And what it says is that during the intact marriage, the husband paid all the fixed expenses and provided the wife with use of a joint credit card to cover her personal expenses for the household and expenses for the party's children. This has now changed. The joint card was maxed out, and instead of paying the credit card monthly, the husband has simply paid down $5,000, which is woefully inadequate and not the status quo. While the husband is presently traveling on a no expense spared vacation with his presumed girlfriend to Europe, he has left the wife and children without cash access to funds and less than $3,000 of available credit on the joint credit card. Of the available credit, automatic debits are associated with the account, which in reality further limits the available access to credit. The wife believes the husband's refusal to maintain the status quo was in retaliation when the wife expressed serious reservations about the husband's request to host, produce, and throw a lavish Halloween party with his girlfriend at the marital home for 800 to 1,000 people with the children present. It seems this hesitation is all the husband needed to justify his behavior. The wife relies on the husband for her support and the support of the children, which is in jeopardy due to the husband's recent conduct. While the wife has attempted to address this matter with the husband, her pleas have completely fallen on deaf ears. The husband has advised the wife he is on vacation and cannot be bothered with the matters that relate to his family. The husband recently paid $5,000 on the joint credit card. However, this credit had previously been promised by the husband for the wife to host a birthday dinner. There is a contract that needs to be honored by the wife with the payment of $5,000. However, that $5,000 has now dwindled to about $3,000 as the wife has needed to use the funds for household and children expenses and a big MF cake for her damn birthday. There have been auto pays on the card, and the husband continues to use the card, all of which has further placed the wife in financial peril. Peril's a little strong, but I get the drama needed. There is no question the husband has the financial ability and wherewithal to maintain the financial status quo, but is deliberately choosing not to do so. Each and every time the wife files a response and or motion in this cause, which have all been responsive to the husband's filings or husband's bad acts, the husband gets upset and verbally confronts the wife with demeaning comments. The husband not only refuses to pay off the credit card balance, as he has historically done during the intact marriage, but he refused to provide the wife with any cash for her and the minor children, prior to leaving the country. As such, the wife is without any meaningful funds at the present time from the husband, even though the husband is paid for all or the lion's share of the wife and minor's children expenses during their entirety of their marriage. She then goes on to say that the wife seeks temporary support. And now Katerina is supposed to host this Halloween party with Dr. Lenny. He's, as his date, his official date, which just shows how, attached he is to this girl at this point. And it would appear that Katerina has not met the children because she hasn't been allowed to, but that Lisa senses that Dr. Lenny is trying to do that, and it's really upsetting her, which I don't blame her at all, because this girl's like, well, go look at her Instagram. And so she doesn't want her around her kids. And the bottom line is that that's probably one of the biggest things that's really upsetting Lisa. Now, Katerina alleges that Lisa's threatening to destroy her life on the show, Real Housewives of Miami. So I'm excited for this season. Katerina claims that she met and started dating Dr. Lenny after he had told her that he left his wife. But obviously, from Lisa's testimony, that wasn't accurate. So she's still sticking with that storyline. And I don't know. I mean, it's pretty choppy waters here. I just hope she doesn't end up getting casted on the Real Housewives of Miami, because that would be really mean. Really mean. Bravo. Really, really mean. Okay, so you guys know that the Patreons basically support the YouTube channel. They fund it. And many of them that send the super stickers even are Patreons. So I wanted to put something very specifically new for the Patreons in this video. And so I'm going to read from a document that I didn't cover in the Patreon yet. And I think this is going to really make you happy, you guys. Listen to this. So this is a document that the husband, Dr. Lenny, filed, okay? And wow, wait till you hear what some of these things say. So in one of his Dr. Lenny's filings against Lisa, he has a footnote, right? And the footnote is about her saying she doesn't want Katerina to meet the kids, Lisa, right? So it says this: quite frankly, if the wife were legitimately concerned about exposing the children to Miss Mazepa, she would refrain from giving media interviews, creating social media posts, and discussing Miss Mazepa while filming scenes for her reality show. She not only refuses to exercise that restraint, can't wait to see the season, she seemingly delights in the conflict. The wife could also delete her Finsta account, which is an Instagram account the wife created under a synonym to post defamatory comments to Miss Mazepa's Instagram account. Her vicious commentary can be viewed not only by Mrs. Mazepa's 1.7 million followers, but the children, their friends, and the general public as well. Anyway, Katerina's injunction goes into way more detail than that. But yeah, it's really, really getting ugly. By the way, I don't know why Katerina has 1.7 million fans. Oh, I do. She was a guest model. You guys. I forgot. That's why she does. And she's naked on most of her pictures. I mean, not really, but you get, mostly naked. I mean, maybe I should go follow her. So I'm following Lisa Hochstein because I really feel for her situation. She was totally loyal to Dr. Lenny. I know she was committed to that relationship for a lot of reasons. But I know she wanted that family to work, and she was willing to put up with any of his BS to do it. And Dr. Lenny checked out of the marriage and checked into a hottie patati who's very young, and I just don't see what they have in common outside the sack, honestly. So it's like, and maybe his ego that's his girlfriend. But to me, it's just, he betrayed his family, in my opinion, and so I don't see it as like he fell in love with someone who, oh my God, I could see why she just was so overwhelmingly more aligned with him. And no, like just shinier. Disrupt the entire family's life. It's just awful. And the kids get impacted no matter what anyone says. So anyway, I don't know. Hard to hide my opinion on this one. Speaking of guys that cheat on their wives, we've got Jeff Bezos, who just also got into the Real Housewives of Miami scene because he bought his mother, Jackie, and his stepfather, Mike, a home through an LLC tied to the Bezos Family Foundation, based in Mercer Island, Washington, if you want to look it up. The company paid $34 million for a 12,829 square foot, 6-bedroom, 7-bathroom mansion at 9475 Journeys End Road on July 20th, according to property records. This is in, I don't know, some news outlet. Okay, because I can't see. Where the hell is this outlet? It's like The Real Deal. Oh, it's a real estate publication. Okay, The Real Deal. Anyway, the deal marks a return to South Florida for Mike and Jackie Bezos, who owned his parents owned a home in Palmetto Bay, and now they own 2 Coral Gables waterfront estates. And it turns out that the Real Housewife of Miami cast member owned the house next to the Bezos, and so I guess he bought the adjacent property so that they wouldn't have to deal with that crazy Real Housewives of Miami neighbor. It says the sellers are attorney Anthony Lopez and his wife, Dr. Nicole Martin. Martin was on Bravo's The Real Housewife of Miami, and Lopez is a shareholder at Marin Elijaic Lopez and Martinez, a Coconut Grove-based law firm. That's funny. They use the word was on Bravo's Real Housewives of Miami. It might have just meant like last season. But anyway. All right. Wow. Hey, lots happening here. So I guess we're going to see Nicole Martin, if she's still on the show, selling her mansion to the Bezos. And we're going to see her move into her new house with her lawyer husband. Dr. Martin does not need to be an anesthesiologist anymore because she sold her house for $40 million. I mean, wow. Take a break. Relax. Go on a trip. I think her husband flies a plane. These have to be some of the most accomplished housewife couple on the franchises across the board. Defo. In my opinion. Alexia Echeverria is now obviously happy and married with her husband, Todd. And her son had gotten into some trouble with his girlfriend last year. And I did a video about it if you want to watch it. But basically, Peter seems to be doing well. He had his 30th birthday. Everybody wished him a happy birthday. And he seems happy, which must make her happy. And so maybe having a strong male figure like Todd in Peter's life is really helping the situation. Meanwhile, Alexia went to shoot Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3 in Thailand. She took Marisol with her, and so we'll see how that ends up going. It will be, I guess, her against Heather Gay and Whitney. I don't know. So she's doing that, and she also went to Teresa Giudice's wedding. I'm going to end this gossip video with this video that's been circulating on social media against Dr. Lenny for you guys to take a look at. Whew. Yeah, lots of this kind of stuff around his practice for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, he has these really crazy NDAs. Let me post an NDA that makes you sign if you go to him. It's pretty shocking. And then I'll play the video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. And you guys, I love to read your comments, even when they're nasty. I'm in. I get it. I can be a little nasty too.
Don't make the mistake I made. Paying more for a celebrity surgeon doesn't mean you'll get the results that you paid for, because it's easy to get rid of the bad reviews and even easier to buy the good ones when you have the money and the clout. I went to Leonard Hochstein and paid $7,300 because he told me I would look like this, but now he has me blocked on Instagram and is lying on Yelp because he left me looking like this. I've been reaching out with my concerns since 3 weeks post-op, just to be told every single time that I was healing normally and I just needed to wait. I made an appointment at 6 weeks because the pain became unbearable and one of my nipples started caving in like a bird's beak. Hochstein really looked at my nipples and said he didn't see anything wrong with them. He once again told me I needed to wait because I had no signs of infection and everything looked normal. I had my implants for a total of 3 months, and And the only place I ever traveled to was back to Michigan to visit my great-grandma when she was put in the hospice, and again for a funeral. Hodgkin still refused to treat me, so I had to go to urgent care for antibiotics. I reached out again after I finished them and was told nothing was ever wrong. It must have been something I did, because it couldn't possibly be from the surgery. My mom had to take off work 3 days later to drive me to the office, unannounced, so I can finally get examined. He does a 180 and says something has gone terribly wrong, and I have to remove my implants immediately, or they'll burst through my skin. So here I am, back in the OR room, 3 days after they told me nothing was wrong.
After 3 months of being gaslighted into thinking nothing was wrong and my body was just feeling wrong, I had to go in for emergency X-rays. So